Seconds left, pass comes in, it's over, folks, it's over. Final score, MSU 68, Ohio State 64. Michigan State has beat the Buckeyes, and this team has beat the Irish.
Well, that, of course, it was over, but not the celebrating. It just began at that point. And we have Will Tieman with us right now, broadcaster for the Spartan Sports Network and MSU men's basketball in particular. You're listening to Michigan's Morning Show. I'm Chris Holman, and Will Tieman, it is so good to have you on. How you doing?
You know what, Chris? I'm doing great. It's been a 3-day blur down in Indy, and how good was that, huh?
Oh my goodness, yeah, we were still yelling this morning. I mean, it was just it was an incredible, like you say, 3 days. And you know, it was funny. Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to you at the banquet, and I appreciate or apologize for that. But I did see you across the room, and you did a phenomenal job. But you know, there was a kind of a pallor over the thing, like unfinished business feeling. You know.
Yeah, and, you know, it was pretty interesting. The whole scenario to the end of the regular season was a little different, to say the least, because think about this. It's Sunday 2 weeks ago now, I guess, and you're sitting on your couch, and it's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and all of a sudden everybody starts losing their last home games of the year, and you're guaranteed a championship with 2 games still to play, and you haven't even been on the court. And so the end, the way it did was, it was a little weird to become a championship team by not even playing, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think there's no doubt the loss to Ohio State was tough, the one at home.
Yeah.
And you know, it was interesting. Somebody asked me once, the losses stay with you. And some do and some don't. But the ones that do, they just do. And that loss to Ohio State, it really wasn't about, you know, there's a lot of dynamics involved, but one of the things that hurt a lot for the people that love this basketball team in not getting the outright title was the fact that it's a good group of people. In the wins and losses come and go, but this collection of players and coaches, it's been kind of special from the very beginning. So the hurt really is about those people because you know how hard they work and how disappointed they are. No different than when your kids have a disappointment, I guess. But so then what was neat about it, though, is when Tom Izzo comes out and he proclaims, we are going to Indy and we are going to reclaim our championship, and I'll be darned, we did.
Not typical comment for him either, which was kind of interesting. I totally agree with you. You know, you made a great analogy to, you know, when your kids have a disappointment. And this team, Tom's teams are always thought of as family. This team probably turns out to be family.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. And there were a lot of neat things said after that game, and there were a lot of warmth and love, and everybody was feeling great. But one of the things that Draymond Green said in his post-game comments, he called it the Green-Thornton era.
Yeah.
Now, think about this. I mean, they've been co-champs the whole year, the two of those, and Austin Thornton is his own great story this season. But here's a guy who clearly is the star of the team. He's an All-American. He could take center stage all by himself, and nobody would begrudge him that.
Yeah.
But he takes a moment to let everybody know there's 2 captains on this team, and it's their era. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And I think in the end, that's probably what got it. You know, and I don't want to dwell on that loss to Ohio State at our place, but, you know, when we left the stadium, my wife and I, we looked at each other and we said, somebody miswrote this. This is what we're supposed to do to them.
Yes, and I never dreamed that we'd lose a senior day. Of course, I never dreamed we're going to lose a game, so
well,
I guess that was not much different. But when you think about it, 3 teams tied for the regular season title. All 3 lost their senior day, which was a little bizarre.
Yeah.
But if you look at the landscape of a 12-team conference, 8 teams lost their senior day. And the fact that all that was happening across the conference was a little peculiar, to say the least. But, you know, it's interesting how things set up. Maybe I don't know what to think about that loss, because you lose by 2, and basketball is a game of ebbs and flows, and you always wonder, do we win or lose if Brandon Dawson doesn't get hurt? That's
Yeah.
things you talk about.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this team found a way to retool itself in fast fashion and win a conference amongst the best teams in college basketball.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to allude to. Is you look at the Big Ten, and all of a sudden we are so tough, top to bottom, that we injure ourselves for the NCAA tournament.
Well, a little bit. There was some real play going out there. There was no doubt about it. But I was thinking going to Indy, we lost our last 2 regular season games, and we didn't drop out of the top 10. That just tells you how good the experts and the voters of such things thought about the Big Ten. But it was a special team, and I think as we look back, even though I hope we have 6 more games to play and win this year, as you look back at what this group has accomplished, I mean, you go back, it was Draymond Green, and who are these other guys? Well, now we know who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a team not filled with regalia at the beginning of the season either. Before we leave this, plaudits obviously MSU. That was a great thing. I want to throw a few plaudits here to Will Tieman and the Spartan Sports Network and what you guys have done from a professionalism standpoint and elevating the broadcast and elevating the game and elevating MSU. You have done just a phenomenal job, Will, and as a fellow professional, I guess, if I can squeak myself into that category, I'm very proud of what you guys have done. Really
thanks a lot, Chris. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'll tell you a quick Tom Izzo thing here. We work hard at it and we love it, and it's just something every day it's fun to go to battle and try to make this network the best it can be. But one of the interesting dynamics that goes on in our world, if you hang with Tom Izzo and you hang with that group, and nobody tells you got to try hard, but if you don't try hard and you try to do your best, you don't feel right.
Yeah.
And he just has a way to bring the best of all of us out, I think.
You're absolutely right. Well, Will, thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris.
All right, buddy. Good to talk to you. Will Tieman, broadcaster for the Spartan Sports Network and MSU men's basketball. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be right back with the Michigan's Morning Show.